Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Crusader Kings 2. My name is Juggernaut, and we're going to Let's Play Crusader Kings 2 as a Norse African nation. How the hell does that make any sense? Well, other than being, perhaps in its undertone, a little bit of a political criticism of certain states in the world and of certain events happening and unfolding at the very present, take that as you will. It is basically a roleplay-ish kind of idea that started from, my desire to play a Norse character, but outside of the place where you usually find Norse characters, such as England. So, essentially the roleplay idea for this character is a adventurer from Svitjold, I believe that is how you're supposed to pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm horribly butchering this. The thing is, I've pronounced it like that since the release of the Viking Age DLC, so you know it's a bit of a tough type of habit to get rid of. And managed to make an adventurer from here, managed to gather up a large army, make his way down the various rivers through what will be modern-day Russia and the Ukraine, and I suppose Belarus too. Made it to the River Don, and from it to the Sea of Azov, to the various different seas around the Mediterranean, down to Farama, and used pretty much the same technique or tactic that Ragnar Lothbrok used in the TV show Vikings to get his ships between the two places because the Gulf doesn't exist yet, and managed to swim his way, or sail his way down here and invade successfully this Duchy of Afar. Why afar? Well, I like the name, because it's a pretty afar from Svitjold. I'll show myself the way out, that was a horrible joke. In all due honesty and in all due seriousness now, though, we're going to play as a Norse character in this duchy and hopefully build a sort of successful dynasty kingdom, and ultimately, I think overthrow the Abbasids will be the goal. So, we've started as, like I said, King, or Petty King, Haraldr of Afar, and the dynasty is of Sverige. Even though Sverige doesn't really exist yet, that's Swedish for Sweden. Even though it doesn't quite exist yet, not really. This is sort of to serve as a reminder of where we come from and who we are. So, let's begin. The reason I'm making this, by the way, I probably should have started the video off with this, is I did quite a few CK2 videos. Some of them recently, some of them a long time ago, but I never really made like a very interesting and unique CK2 playthrough. I've done tons with European Universalis, but I never really delved into CK2 on the channel. Personally, I've played like, a few thousand hours probably in the game. But never really did that much with it on the channel in terms of a Let's Play, so I wanted to try one out and see how you guys would like it, and I think this is a pretty damn interesting idea. So, first we're obviously going to have internal struggle and internal problems against our vassals, who are both the wrong culture and the wrong religion, but King Haraldr is, we could say he's also the son of the adventurer that conquered this land, because he is only 16. I'm going to start as a young ruler, because honestly I need the buffs. I'm playing this game pretty much vanilla, except with two mods, Personal Castle and Ruler Designer Unlocked, which is why I can start with traits like Viking or Adventurer, and I can start off with more traits and not have my age be affected. So, let us begin. But before we start picking out our ambitions, and I'll also do that off camera. I'll also do that without really talking about it, because it's fairly obvious and fairly straightforward most of the time. What I will say is it is fairly interesting. This entire political situation we find ourselves in, because obviously, right now, this isn't that spectacular, but as soon as the Abbasids start swallowing everything around them up, we will be in a serious problem. They could swallow other people up by alliance as well, so have them maintain their independence but be allied to one another, which is what happens quite often, especially in the later or in the newer versions of the game. So yeah, we'll see how it works. Basically, they're our biggest threat, and when we eliminate them, we'll practically have won the game. But at any rate, let us begin. Now, obviously, this is going to be an issue. We can't really find anyone to marry. Well, within our religious group, that's it, or within our religion, that is. That's going to be a bit of a problem. We could obviously, we could always ship someone in from Svitjold. Again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. From Scandinavia. But I will start with the RDU more options thing. And that's the rule designer unlocked. And I reject my humanity. Start with Immortal, right? Yeah. Figure, because the Immortal trait wasn't in the thing, but we're not going to do that. We're going to start with event spawn troops. I'm going to start with light infantry. Let's say about 1,000 of those. And we're going to start with event spawn troops, light cavalry. And no, never mind. Let's start with just light infantry, heavy infantry. Well, it is a bit much in the way of heavy infantry considering the year and everything, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get rid of this infantry like after the first war probably. So, just wanted to have it as a bit of a a bit of a backstory to everything. So let's say that this is supposedly the army that attacked and conquered Athar. Sounds about reasonable. 3,000 men. It would need to be. Well, let's say half of them died, and then 3,000 men is all that remains. Okay, lovely. So, internally, we're going to have a bit of an issue, I'm afraid, though, to begin with. But there is also another sort of avenue to look at this from. We are Germanic, unreformed Germanic. Unfortunately, pagan religions, as fun as they are, don't really stand up to the sort of more mainstream religions of the time, such as Catholicism, Orthodoxy, or the Sunni, or hell, some of even most of the Indian religions. She is a bit small, but to begin with. But if they do get to control a whole lot of territory and convert a bunch of provinces, then them too, obviously. But Slavic, Sumenusko, Germanic, they don't really, Romuva especially, don't really stand up to these religions until they've been reformed, and it's primarily because of one reason that's been changed in relatively recent updates. It used to be that you cannot convert provinces, I think, back in the day, or you couldn't convert, I don't know, something, but you could get around that by converting something else. I'm a genius, I know, I'm a genius at explaining things, but essentially, nowadays, and there's probably a couple of years of difference between what I'm talking about and what is now, but at any rate, nowadays, you cannot convert people to your religion. Well, you can with this, but the chances are pretty damn slim, so not really. You can't really. So, at any rate, look at this. Demand religious conversion cannot. It's not a religion that allows demanding religious conversion, so it's a bit of an issue, obviously. At any rate, though, it does have ways of working around that, but it's usually rather difficult. So, what I will do is I will pray to the gods of RNG that somehow Bjorn Ironside manages to grab a hold of either that or that. The likelihood of that happening is non-existent. Could he grab those three? Again, very unlikely, and then he needs to actually find it within himself to reform the faith, which unbloody likely again. He can. I've seen the AI do it, but usually takes up to 300 years, and it's not very good. Anyways, if he doesn't do that, I will switch religions, which creates an interesting sort of situation to begin with. It will probably not be Sunni, though. It might be Miaphysite. Matter of fact, I think it probably will be Miaphysite, all things considered. Might even be Jewish, I don't know. But it will not be Sunni, as sort of it's our greatest rival at this point, isn't there? And it would bring me too close to them, and it would prohibit some of the things that I want to do. So it will not be Sunni for pure gameplay reasons. Probably Miaphysite or the other one. But for now, we are a Germanic pagan, and like I said, I will roleplay most of this out. So I've set up the idea behind the character in the Let's Play for the first, 20 minutes of the video. Now we can actually begin playing, right? Well, hold your horses. This is CK2. No, you can't. Yeah, we want to remove that. You need to click a whole bunch of things before you actually begin playing. So, let's start with allowing revocation laws, and council's good as it is. So let's take a look at the de jure kingdom. That's quite big. Okay. Let us begin then. Most of these guys have no allies, and although we can't wage holy wars, we have this, which is, in certain situations, better, in certain situations, worse. I should probably put out I don't know, not like a warning, but you know what I mean. Okay, notice that I will explain things quite a bit as to sort of why I'm doing them and stuff like that. And this is sort of, kind of ish, but not really a continuation of my tutorial series on CK2, which did pretty damn well. I mean, people enjoyed it. I helped a bunch of people learn the game, but I feel like there isn't much else I can talk about that I haven't covered already. I will do the tutorial for the Religious Warfare update when it comes out in the next DLC, but until then, I'm pretty sure I've covered most of the major stuff in the game. I've covered the economy, I've covered cultures and religions. I sort of could leave open, but for a future video. But all you do is you sort of click here and read this. No, this is basically it. There's nothing more to cultures or religions other than that. So yeah. Game pretty much tells you everything you need to know right here. So, well, actually, it tells it several times. So, for example, can raid. Pretty sure it says it 3 times in this thing. At any rate, let's begin. He says for the 11th time. I know. I'll compose a book pretty much immediately, and I will compose a book on either diplomacy or I'll compose a book on stewardship, I think. Usually I go for diplomacy because diplomacy is really good for vassal management and keeping them happy, which we will need considering most of them are of the wrong, actually all of them are of the wrong religion, but stewardship is really good for centralization, which, as you will notice, I do tend to have a fairly centralized society. Can we present a debutante to the court? A courtier named Inga appears. You're not what I asked for. Try another one. We'll try them out like this because they're cheap. You're weak. I don't want you as a wife. Sorry. And yes, the only reason I'm presenting them to court is so I can pick up a wife of the same religion and culture. You're pretty good. I'll take you. We're never going to get the perfect woman with this. And yes, technically I could spam this quite a bit and then end up with the perfect one, but sod that. So we're going to lose a little bit of prestige, but that's fine. We're going to more than make up for it in the first war. Let's set the crown focus to Harare, I believe, right? Yep, that's the capital. I will probably eventually move the capital to something like up here. I think Alexandria will be the capital. I don't know. Sorry. Yawning. I haven't had much sleep. So, let's begin with you. We have a de jure claim against you. Or we can do conquest, which is actually better. So, if we win, he becomes my new vassal with conquest. I gain the county of Afar directly, and I gain piety and moral authority, and nobody's around to stop me. Yeah, well, obviously we're going with that. Now, this is not the beginning nor the end of our struggle, however, after the first few wars, and the Abbasids aren't the beginning or the end of our struggle. They might be the end of our struggle, but they're not the beginning, certainly, because there is actually a king here, and he's damn strong, or at least tends to be, because he tends to inherit most of the things around him, and successfully conquer them. So we're up against a clock that is continuously going to be ticking until we form like the first couple of kingdoms, I would say. And then we can take it easy a little bit, because we'll have access to mercenaries, we'll have good taxes, and all that stuff. Hold you back. Okay. And there goes the voice. So, do I want to be leading? Obviously I want to be leading this with such a high score. Yeah, let's put the best commanders in. I forgot to do something very important. That's right there, auto assign commanders, and my chancellors to do stuff. So, I'm gonna need my wife to be the sort of national priest type person. Need you to do that, and you can perform statecraft. There we go. As far as the rules are concerned for the game, I've done pretty much my standard rules setup, if you will, and that is, yeah, I expected that, and that is pretty much all the standard rules apart from Shattered Retreat turned off, defensive pacts turned off, and release prisoner after torture turned off. Well, hold on, does that mean you can sort of abuse that and torture prisoners to death without actually clicking the execute button? Yes, I can, but I don't. Unless I don't torture them multiple times to cause them great bodily harm and death, unless I can execute them to begin with without any penalty, or without any extra penalty than the usual piety loss. So, yeah. Does not matter. There we go. And there is going to be a fairly, it's going to be one of the simplest wars you can start with, but my neighbors are going to be doing pretty much the same thing. Actually, in this case, they are defending against this guy, which, I don't know, that doesn't really make a difference whether they win or lose, so long as an empire doesn't come strolling in here. And they start with 7,000 troops. Damn, that is tough. Okay. We can deal, though, and we shall. We shall, believe me. Let's start with siege equipment as our tech. Usually people do military organization or one of the infantries. I'm not going to do military organization. I'm a bit tired of it. Honestly, it's going to be nuanced for me to not use that feature, because I pretty much use retinues always and forever in every playthrough. It's because they're so good, and not as a military force. I mean, they are pretty damn good as a military force to begin with, but they're terrific as a force to deter rebellions and stuff like that. So you can just spam them and use them as a deterrent against rebellions. That is equally powerful. So yeah. At any rate, we're just going to do conquest CBs against the locals, pretty much, and try and unify the nation. So let's see how successful we can be doing precisely that. There's a bit of a serious fight going on over here, but hopefully it is the slow-running water that... Well, what is the expression? I actually never did. I can never remember this expression in English. If the expression even is with water, which is what I believe it is. It's like slow water causes a landslide, something like that. Yeah, whatever. Point being, slow and steady wins the race, right? That's a bit more commercially accepted, let's say. Okay, gotcha. Probably shouldn't be wasting the event spawn troops so much, but I don't intend to abuse them to too great an extent. Other than perhaps maybe using, well, perhaps maybe unifying the Duchy of Afar, but that's... Oh, this is not my de jure duchy, is it? No, it's not. Ah! Means I can usurp it from you very early on. And the beauty of this entire thing is... Actually, I'll go like this. I have 3,900 something troops. I have 1,100 troops out of 2,000. You have 500. So either which way, I would win against you, right? The event spawn troops don't help much. And they do, but not much. Let's go ahead and end this. Start establishing ourselves down here. Actually, I had a save from a few updates ago. I think it was like last update or something like that. As Scandinavia, and Scandinavia as a Scandinavian empire, and they control pretty much all of this. And all of this, and like most of France. And I was like, it would be cool to create a character down here in that save file, but it's not save game compatible, so I had to start up a new one. Because in that save file, the Germanic faith was actually reformed, and I could pick a reformed character. Or I can pick the reformed Germanic religion there. That would be good. That'd be pretty good, but the way things are right now... I have to hope that the AI does exceptionally well. Or just turn to Myphosite. Again, it's an equally viable option. Actually, probably even more viable, all things considered. Now, the traditional way to take down this kingdom would be to sort of chip away at them bit by bit. But I'm thinking maybe, just maybe... Hey, my wife got pregnant. That's very early on. That's actually very good. Though... inheritance will be a problem because we're permanently stuck to Gavelkind. Unfortunately. Which is another really reason to... actually, probably more important than conversion. Oh, I want you to stay there. I'll lose the taxes anyway. The problem is how do I react to you doing this? I'll deal with it later. Let him be incompetent. Well, that was really bad. Decent income for like considering we just started, right? Probably the main reason for, or the main argument for converting to a local religion, or a more local-ish religion, would be Gavelkind, or rather, the ability to switch to something else like elective, or literally anything that's not Gavelkind. Because it is the absolute worst of all religions. Of all succession laws, sorry. Okay, how are you doing? 1,400 men. I'm not going to attack you, considering I can't. I'm actually going to disband these troops, because they sort of serve their purpose and now they're going to settle the area, right? They're war veterans, we're going to leave them be. Commission a runestone. That's a lot of gold. Not a great blot, but it's not... Hold on, isn't this broken? I know it's broken in India. I'm not sure it's broken here. I guess we'll have to find out. Because there's a reason. Actually, I broke the game, like, in the last playthrough, I broke the game, like, 2 or 3 times. I just figured it's completely completely and utterly not meant to work the way I'm having it work. Let's call you Dag. You're sickly though, that's unfortunate. Strong, you inherited that. That's very good, but sickly. Hope the do I have a physician? Yes I do. I hope he can fix you up. So here's the sort of kind of issue with playing so far away from your culture. I think this could potentially be broken. Because if your vassals have a good opinion of you, and I'm pretty sure this is like a very new thing, they don't want to disappoint you by not going to your festivities, let's just say. However, they want to go, but they can't if they're not Germanic pagan, right? You just killed my baby, you absolute idiot. So the thing is, they want to, but they can't in this sort of area because they're the wrong religion, and the wrong religions can't, or the different religions can't go to the Germanic specific event, which is why they will actually send you money instead for some odd reason. I'm not sure whether this is just an India thing or whether it's Jesus Christ, get some sleep before recording, eh? Or whether it's anywhere around the world. But if they have a good opinion of you, they will send you money. As in, everyone that can't attend will send you money. You make a crap ton of gold by holding a festivity which is sort of envisioned to be kind of the opposite, right? Because the idea of holding this celebration is you spend gold, but you gain prosperity and you gain diplomatic, you gain an opinion buff with all your vassals that attend. Actually, it's not all the vassals that attend, it's all the vassals, period. So, question being then, why? Tell us more of Jesus. I will let you spread religion here. The Hungarians have settled. Alright, it's fairly standard. Well, actually, it's not. This is a bit small for Hungary. Usually they take up more and more land. Okay. But yeah, so you sort of like break the event because now there is no reason to not spam it always. Because you'll spend 50 gold, but you'll make like 400 to 500. Plus the benefits that exist already. Let's see who we're gonna invade next. Well, we could just raid, but now is not time. Plus, here is not the place, if that makes sense. Apart from this capital, everything around is just dirt poor. So actually, this kingdom's actually kind of okay to raid, but everything else is sort of like dirt poor. So don't quite want to do that. Let's test it out. Let's see if it's broken. Yeah. There we go. I just made money. I'm not sure if it's broken or not. Maybe it's not, but you know. Sure, I'll give you some supplies. I could commission a runestone. Let's do that. I don't have... that's not true. I have all sorts of things. I'd say my wisdom must be preserved. I'm not sure... Where the hell did this train of thought go? It wasn't supposed to start with I'm not sure. That's the problem. I just realised it. What I was going to say is I don't have much else to spend the money on. That's not true. There's like a million building upgrades plus the personal castle stuff, which is really good. But I'm not going to build much of it with like 6 gold. The Byzantines formed the Varangian Guard early on nowadays, though, so that's good. Or relatively early on, so yeah. You might wonder, why is that good? Well, you can interact with the Byzantine with the Varangian Guard, and you can actually inherit the Varangian Guard. Yes, you can. Been there, done that. Very cool. You just literally like take it off the Byzantines and like, yep, you serve me now, which is great because they are a very, very nice mercenary force. Like the most cost-effective mercenary force. So yeah. Composing a book. I'll develop a flu, and that flu will probably kill me, but I'll have written a good book. So sure. Why not? There we go. Diplomacy +2, general opinion +10. It's only for 2 years, though. But the 300 prestige is permanent. And you need some of it for war. 1.2k soldiers, I nearly have 2,000. Yeah, you know what? It's time for you to, or bend the knee, bend the knee, as we say. Yeah. Where are you? Are you going here? That's not very smart. Because I'll gather my troops anywhere, so long as I gather them. You know, I could do the same thing, I suppose. Yeah. 1,000 versus 2,000, and I'm a far superior commander. Not gonna work. We've gained a better understanding of military technology from a technologically inferior nation, but yeah, sure. Actually, are they? Put some sustenance, but no, they're actually very superior to me. Yeah, never mind. Okay, I thought I started with at least close to equal tech, but no. That's fine. Tech doesn't really matter that much. It does. Now, I'm lying to you. Is what I'm doing at this point. It does matter quite a bit, but I can deal with it. Not much of a problem. There we go. I should start handing out most of these, right? Was it Alt right click? No, it was... There is a map mode, and I keep forgetting what it is. So this is the Vassals map mode, but there is also like a Vassals map mode. As in the vassals of my vassals, and it's the Alt, Shift, I'm gonna break my computer, but better stop doing that. I keep forgetting what it is. It's hotkey, but hey. I don't need it now, but I will later on, so I'll have to look it up. This is on my duchy, so I'll keep this. This is not, though, so I'll give that away to someone. I think I usually start with a couple of people in court that are of your culture. Or you don't. Alright. Present a noble to the court, 15 gold. Worth it. Actually not worth it. It is actually not worth it. because I can just give it to whomever and just bury him under a vassal later, but this is cleaner, right? This is a little bit cleaner. Alright. This puts us at pretty much around the same number. No, don't make him ambitious. Mostly prestige, less intrigue, sure. Don't make him ambitious. I don't like ambitious vassals. For reasons which honestly should be self-evident. A little bit at least. Merchant caravan, sure, let them in. Tell us more of this mystical realm of Hindustan, which is actually not that far away. I accept your gift. Do I? Yeah, sure, I'll accept your gift. Actually, do I have any ships? No. It would be very cool to set up an empire here, or a kingdom here, build ships, and then raid Hindustan, because Hindustan is stupidly wealthy. It's actually one of the most underrated... well, not one of, but it is the most underrated bit of land when it comes to economy and wealth, because look at this. Like, Central Europe has 30 to 40 gold in stock, right? European coastal provinces, 50, 51, 40, 50, 40, right? Until you get to a big place like this one in Nevermind, it's all been pillaged. Until you get to like a huge important landmark, such as Rome, that's 89, but Rome has yet to develop. Constantinople, which is infinite money. So you cannot loot it enough. And like a couple of places here and there that are phenomenally wealthy, like this coast, Thrace and Calliopolis, I believe. Couple of islands here are not very wealthy, but they're easy to loot because they're not well defended. Couple of places here tend to be very wealthy. Iberia tends to be very wealthy, though very well defended too. They don't really like Vikings all that much. But as someone from this area, you sort of go to Europe to raid, right? You don't raid your neighbours because they have even less than you do, right? And look at this. 4, these are nomads, so 0, but like, look at that. 3 ducats, 4 ducats. There is no money to be had here. You go down here into the Abbasids, and except from the odd capital here and there, it's not all that great either. And you go down here, it's a bit of a mixed bag. You get something like 123 ducats, and then you get something like 11 ducats. It's a bit of a mixed thing, but the entire coast of India, pretty damn wealthy. So I would like to raid them. I believe... actually, no, this is not true. Disregard. I was going to say I believe you get less of a chance for some of the traits. That's subjective. It's not true. I actually checked. You checked in the game files how you get the Viking trait, and it's upon looting a settlement, there is a 10% chance... Was it like that? I think it was even less. I think it was a 10% chance of a certain percent chance to get an event that basically gives you the Viking trait. So you're going to need to do a lot of raiding before... Let's call you Ingrid. Before you get that trait. Which is kind of why I started with it. Plus, it fits in with the story of the character quite well. Now, there is one thing that I haven't mentioned yet that will... How to build a well. No, that's the worst one. That's a terrible one. Like legitimately, it's terrible. It was like build cost -20. Yeah. Do you seriously remember every book and what it does simply by name? Look. I'll give you a very expensive gift because I have no idea why, but I will. Probably because I'm stupid. Do you seriously remember every book by name and what it does? look, after, like, 3,000 or 4,000 hours, you start to see sound when it comes to this game, and it all sort of blends into a mass of something. And yes, you start remembering stuff that you genuinely should not remember. Start from here. What's 1.3k? I need to wage war. Remember, I'm on a timer. You are not. You can get swallowed by the Abyssinians, and you don't care. I do. Actually, I should probably not panic as much, because being vassalized by them is not actually the worst thing in the world, if we build a kingdom first. Like, being a king under the Abbasids has an extraordinary amount of potential. You really didn't manage to stack wipe? Okay. Because you can not only can you break the country apart and then like form a bunch of independent stuff, you can murder the Sultan over and over again, thus, you know, breaking the kingdom apart. Or better yet, you can take over. Like, fairly easily. All you need to do is overthrow the current Sultan, and they'll give you the throne. Which, I don't know, that was pretty lucky. Saves me from losing troops. Like, that is really good, right? I want to give this to someone, but again, I run into the same problem. Okay, no, can't get a noble to court because of money. Well, we don't need to. I'm not over the defense limit yet, so we can wait. It's gonna be, trust me, it's gonna be a little bit repetitive early on. Let's secretly convert to Myophysite. Less piety. Found a religious cult. Myophysite faithful. Creating a following, enabling you to sow seeds of the true faith in the darkness until you have enough followers to emerge from the shadows. And what will this cost me? 250 prestige. Sure. Sure. Let's do that. Because none of this here is Myophysite, right? Apart from this one. You know, like, it's all Sunni, right? I like the idea. We'll do that. I like the idea. But I was saying, it will be a little bit repetitive, trust me, early on. It'll basically be using the free conquest CB against pretty much everyone around us until we get, you know, completely and utterly exhausted from using it. And look for something better, but for the time being, this will do just fine. To each their own, yeah. So, what's the backstory here? Well, you married a queen that was a Germanic pagan, but turned Myophysite, and now she's poisoning you against your old faith. Plus, there's no Germanic pagans around you, apart from a couple of vassals that you brought along and imported from Sweden, which, this is not Sweden yet, but still from Scandinavia, right? Which, by the way, oh, congratulations to Jorvik. How's the war going? I'm always curious about this. You won? Sort of looks like it. Okay. Byzantines are in civil war. Nothing new there. I had a bit going somewhere. Again, I forgot where it was supposed to go. Yeah, the backstory is I love how we're sort of importing people from over here. It's like, yeah, I'll take a couple of hours and just move across like 2 continents to get to you. It's no problem. Damn. those Vikings were hella advanced, eh? At any rate, we'll speak here. I choose you. Notice how they change, though? Like, most of the, This is gonna sound like a conspiracy theory, but notice how most of the people of the wrong faith tend to, or quote-unquote wrong faith, tend to switch over or mysteriously disappear as soon as you put in a couple of vassals here and there that are of your culture and faith. Yeah? All I'm saying is, plots work in mysterious ways. Sure, you'll have your gold. Give me military tech. It's, between me and you, it's actually not worth it. It's like, it is actually not worth it at all. But I don't like disappointing them. And don't worry, we'll get rid of one of the two sons, or we'll change faith before, before anything. So what does this do? Right. I can openly adopt faith. I've actually never played with this before. I want to look into it a little bit. Let's go into the character finder in the realm and start with opinions. So let's evoke sympathy, and that'll cost me 50 devotion, of which I have 1,000, so infinite. Okay. Evoke sympathy for Christians. You're irrelevant, you're irrelevant. Evoke sympathy. Evoke sympathy. Evoke sympathy. Convert her, no. Evoke. These might horribly fail, and if they do, it doesn't really matter. Like, not really. Let's see how it goes. Okay. So it's all pretty much the same event, just with different people. Let's see. I'm thinking we sort of pick one and just click through all the others the same way. So I need to lean in a little bit. Read all this. With some careful planning, I'm seated to, all the people I've just clicked. Formal dinner. What angle should I employ? Their scars, both physical and emotional, will never fade. Does this have to do something with his stats or mine? Probably mine, right? Personal trauma. Friends, business. Let's go with that. With everyone, and see with how many people it works. Yeah, I'm sure. What have you done? Lovely. Not yet ready to accept the truth. He is. Not yet ready, not yet ready. He is, and he is. That's good. That's good. Good, congratulations. You're on the right track. Induct into the my site faith. Let's try that. Hello? They'll tell about a legendary warrior. Sure. That worked. It worked really well for the Muslims. Haha! Lovely. It's time for you to join us, my friend. There we go. China, whatever. We don't care about China yet. Oh, that's a shame. But you did convert him. Look, as fun as all of this is, and it's not, we can just do that. Right? We can just do that. And my Foresight religion has this button, which, like, honestly, beats the living snot out of whatever intricate and complicated thing you just proposed to me. So, yeah. Plus, I've got gold, mate, so I can do that. And for the price of, like, I don't know, a couple of hundred gold. Actually, for me, it's actually less than 100 gold. You can convert everyone in your nation overnight. Right. So as good as plotting and scheming is, gold is better. There is nothing it cannot achieve. Unfortunately, what we did just lose is CBs over this sort of area, but that is, you would be surprised, not that big of a problem. But anyway, it's been going on for way too long, this video. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe down below if you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you guys next time. I hope you liked the series, and I understand that it had a ridiculously long setup explaining how a Norse Viking managed to get here, but, you know, in all due honesty, it's a Norse Viking in what is a far way away from Scandinavia. I'm sorry. Have fun, take care, and bye-bye.